Thank you, Ken. You've seen the top level stuff. I'm going to take you right down the weeds, or at least down in the trees. Perhaps the most simple form of economic warfare is wildland arson. That's just setting fires in U.S. forests, grasslands. So for any terrorists that are determined to inflict significant damage with very little investment or risk, fire is an extremely high leverage weapon of mass effect. And when the Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden, they captured a treasure trove of material that provided some unprecedented insight into the al-Qaeda plans. And one of those was a detailed campaign for starting fires throughout the West. And U.S. officials have pretty much determined that some of the fires that burned in California last year were ignited by al-Qaeda operatives. On May 2nd of this year, ABC News ran a story entitled Al-Qaeda Magazine Calls for Firebomb Campaign in U.S. And issues of something called Inspire magazine surfaced on al-Qaeda websites, calling for jihadists to start huge fires with timed explosives planted in U.S. forests. Now, those articles detailed instructions for constructing remote-controlled, quote, ember bombs. Now, the concept of fire wars isn't really, or just merely, a futuristic possibility confined to think tank musings. As of last Saturday, there were 52 large fires burning across the United States. 38 of them were uncontained. Since July 1st, crews have been battling fires in Colorado, Missouri, Idaho, South and North Dakota, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, Nevada, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alaska, Florida, California, Minnesota, North Carolina, Arizona, Nebraska, Alabama, Arkansas, and Georgia. And although they will cost Americans billions of dollars, those were just the fires on federal land. They don't include local and state fires, such as 6 that were started in wheat stubble fields of north central Kansas 2 weeks ago. 4 of those were started in one night. Now, those of us who live in Colorado are already engaged in fire combat. Recently, 25 fires were started within a few miles of each other in El Paso and Teller counties. Every one of them was attributed to arson, but the fire crews has extinguished all 25 of them before they caused much damage. However, the arsonist is still at large. And in early July, there were 12 large fires, major fires, burning in Colorado. 6 of those consumed 167,000 acres, and that's an area about 4.27 times the size of Washington, D.C. One, the High Point fire in northern Colorado, has burned 87,504 acres and burned and destroyed 259 homes. But the most destructive fire in Colorado history started 3 miles from my hometown of Colorado Springs on June 23rd. The Waldo Canyon fire exploded on June 26, fueled by 100-degree temperatures, relative humidities in the 2% range, and 55 to 65 mile-per-hour winds. In the span of minutes, not hours, those wind-driven flames jumped 2 fire breaks and raced down hills into the Mountain Shadows neighborhood. And thanks to exceptionally dedicated, brave firefighters, they battled a firestorm from hell, quote unquote, that ultimately destroyed 346 homes and killed 2 people, all in a few hours. Now, the Waldo Canyon fires burned 18,247 acres, forced 32,000 people to evacuate, and cost on the order of $15 million in direct costs to bring it under control. Investigators have not determined the cause yet, but we know it was not sparked by a lightning strike. The top-level questions are, was the Waldo Canyon fire started by terrorists? Did the same person or group that ignited those other 25 fires finally score on number 26? And was this part of an organized economic warfare campaign of fires across the U.S.? If it was an economic warfare attack, then the Waldo Canyon fire was a huge success. Rebuilding those 346 homes will exceed $100 million, and indirect costs will add millions more. Businesses that were evacuated estimate that their critical summertime revenues will be down 45 to 65%. The Broadmoor, a five-star luxury hotel that wasn't in any immediate danger at all, lost more than 4,000 nights through cancellations. Thousands of tourists were either driven from the mountains by evacuations or simply didn't come to Colorado Springs because they were spooked by the massive fire. One community there, Manitou Springs, has already suffered 74 job losses due to just layoffs. And insurance rates will probably rise as a result of this and hundreds of other fires across the country. Now, professional firefighters are warning that this rash of wildland fires may be just the beginning of a terrible season that could see millions more acres burned across the West. Ironically, Blue Ribbon Panel report, I was part of that back in 2002, the report we submitted 10 years ago warned of exactly this situation. Extremely dry conditions, exacerbated by forests that are choked with downed timber and standing beetle-killed trees, create ideal targets for terrorists waging economic warfare. Now, there's reason to believe that the U.S. is under attack, that the bad guys are waging fire wars right now. Thank you.